I see a lot of discourse online about Earth being a prison planet, and I don't disagree. There's definitely a feeling of confinement here. From politics to education, finances, and so on, everything is meticulously designed in a systematic way with an underlying tone of get in line and don't venture outside of said line or there will be consequences. So why choose school rather than prison as a label for Earth? For me, it simply comes down to the feeling each word carries. The word prison feels like helplessness, whereas the word school feels like opportunity. And if there's one thing living with depression has taught me, it's that learning how to speak to my mind in a kinder way is the best method for elevating my thoughts from lower dimensional thinking to higher frequencies. If I can convince my mind that there's a way to use my mental health struggles for growth rather than it being a trap, then I can look for opportunities to work with what I'm given instead of feeling completely controlled by it. And I believe that same logic can be applied to Earth School rather than Earth Prison. It's believing that despite the systems of control I have to exist within, my inner sovereignty is what has the ultimate power. Hi, my name is Brianna, and Spoon-Fed Perspectives is my passion project, where I use the lenses of metaphysics, philosophy, and spirituality to champion mental health and trauma healing. If any of this resonates with you, then I'd love to have you follow along the journey as we elevate our lives together, one spoonful at a time. When I contemplate Earth as a prison planet, I'm often reminded of what I jokingly asked one of my brothers after he graduated high school. I said, "You sure you don't want to go back?" And he said, I already did my time. I said to myself, did your time? He made that sound like it was a prison sentence. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I kind of felt that way too. There's a sense of dread when you're forced into a system where you have to wake up at a certain time, do things you don't necessarily want to do for a majority of your time, then once the work is done, have a few hours to yourself, if any, rest, maybe, and then repeat over and over. Coupled with what seems to be an inverted reality where good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. This is why I don't fault the prison planet viewpoint. That's very much what living on Earth can feel like, but that's just one way of looking at it. When I reflect on my time in grade school, I realize that the overall experience went by in the blink of an eye, and that it was only one chapter in my life's overall journey. There's so much more that has happened since then that has shaped me into who I am today. Granted, at the time of being in school, it most certainly did not feel like the blink of an eye. Some days, especially the tougher ones, felt long and never-ending. But when that end eventually did come, time and reflection caused me to play that chapter of my life back like a highlight reel. And as someone who is fascinated with those who have experienced transitioning out of this physical realm into the spiritual one, and then back into the physical to share their testimonies, playing their lives back like a highlight reel is something that many of them talk about too. I don't remember the small details of every single day of my grade school experience, but I gather enough highlights to come to a general conclusion of how that experience made me feel. It made me realize that if that chapter in my life was temporary, as all the other experiences after that one have been, then the way I approach those experiences play a major role in shaping the overall narrative that sticks with me through time. By approaching my time in grade school as something I had to do in order to graduate onto other things, then my mindset became, let me accept this predicament for what it is, do what I gotta do to earn passing grades, and be done with it. Yes, there'll be times when the curriculum doesn't make any sense. Yes, there'll be times when I want to drop out. But if I don't complete the lessons and graduate, then there's a chance I'll have to keep repeating the same classes over and over until I get it right. And at some point, that gets exhausting. I'd rather motivate myself with the opportunity to move on to bigger and better things than to feel helpless in a system designed to trick me into believing I have no power. I wouldn't have been able to think like that if I approached it from a prison mindset. And this is why I believe so strongly in the concept of Earth as a school. Now, critics might say, what exactly are we learning when someone ends up homeless, robbed, taken advantage of, bullied, and so on? And I'm not even going to lie, I don't have an answer for it. Sometimes I think even trying to explain those situations away can come across as insensitive based on the severity of those circumstances. Sometimes Earth School can feel cruel and unfair, but I think there's power in acknowledging our feelings and what we don't quite always understand. Even when we graduate, we still don't know everything there is to know. Sometimes that's reserved for another place and another time. I also think there's power in that there are so many of us students in the School of Earth, with the understanding that we all have at least one thing to learn from this experience, then we can help one another along the way. Each time we utilize our talents, amplify our voices by speaking our truths, challenge the status quo, it's almost as if we're coming to the front of the classroom and presenting pieces of an ongoing project. We have the opportunity to learn with and from each other and graduate onto wherever life takes us after here. So, as long as we're present, the choice is ours in how we choose to approach the here and now. How do you want to remember the highlight reel of your time in Earth School? As long as you're enrolled, it's never too late to make a mindset shift and take control of your inner dialogue, to view your reality from a renewed set of eyes, to reclaim the scholar within you and shatter the glass ceiling the system tries to limit you in. I'd love to hear your perspectives on this subject. Do you agree or disagree with Earth being a school? How do you view life on Earth? Respectfully, please let me know in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.